when you talk about the relationships and network that you've had, you were talking about that in the context of transitions. And internal in an organization, you talked about how just now you really developed that deeper, trusting relationship with humility. And you talked also about when you're making a change, how you network externally. Please share with us your experience now serving on boards. What would be the 2 or 3 or more things that you would advise, or that maybe even you wish you knew when you started serving on public and private company boards that you know today? How would you onboard me for that role?
So the first piece of advice I give people is, it seems like when you're ready for board service, you want to take that first one that comes your way. And I would say, be careful. Okay. It's really a matchmaking process, and you're signing up for a long-term commitment, whether you like it or not. I mean, like, so it's not like when you join a company and you're like, well, you know, like seriously, when I joined DuPont, I said, I'll stay here for a couple of years. They'll train me and I'll go someplace else. Right. But with board service, you don't really have that luxury. So I would say, first and foremost, you need to really admire and respect the CEO. You need to trust him with your personal reputation, him or her, with your personal reputation. Because when you sign up, that person can do significant damage to your personal reputation if you don't believe in his or her values, integrity, you know, all that good stuff that you're looking for, you know, from a CEO. And I think that's just critically important. Second, I think you should really like and be interested in the fellow members of the board. I mean, I am on boards with some fascinating people. The logistics board, it has the president of the NCAA. We have some wonderful conversations, he and I. You know, so I think being with interesting, talented, smart people who will challenge you. I mean, you know, it's back to what you said. I never want to be the smartest person in the room. That's just a waste of my time. You know, I want to be surrounded by really smart, intelligent people who are going to help me learn and grow and develop. And so take the time, I would say, to get to know your CEO and get to know your fellow board members. I mean, sometimes they only offer 1 or 2. A good board will let you meet all of them. You know, in fact, the one that we worked together on, Longevity, they made certain that I had time to meet with every one of the other board members. And I felt that that was really important, because you're going to be in the trenches with these people when tough things happen. And you want to know and respect the people that you're in the trench with. You want to say, yeah, that's the kind of person I want to go through. Because every board, every company has good times and bad times. And I think that I'd say, do your homework. Really, really know. And again, I sound like I'm overemphasizing, but it really is about the people. You should also love what the company does. You know, you should say, wow, we're making a difference. We are serving, we're making an impact on the world. I love what we're doing. I love how we're doing it. You really have to share the values of the company. You never want to join a company and find out that you're misaligned from what they value and what you value point of view. But I think with enough research and homework and FaceTime, which unfortunately we don't have right now in the coronavirus world, but you know, spending time with the individuals that you're going to be working with, then you can honestly sign up and say, you know what, this is going to be a fun 10 years, because that's what it is.
Yeah, you have to play the long game here, don't you, as your Madam Chairman of the LPGA. It is definitely the long game that we're playing here. When you think about the role of the C-suite and the chief executive, there's a long mythology of how the buck stops with that chief executive, with the CEO. And then she or he realizes that now you have 12 bosses or 10 bosses on the board of directors. What's your best thinking about how to manage that and to advise CEOs to think about those relationships in a way that they need to groom them, develop them, and be able to get the optimal input and still drive the business forward when you've got a group of people parachuting in episodically throughout the year.
You know, and again, I'm sure you've thought this through, but communication is important. And what I love, as a board member, I take my cues from my CEOs, because I think each board member has something different that they can and do contribute. When we're together in a collective, we may be working on strategy, you know, we may be working on cybersecurity, but then when you peel it off, like each member has something, and I think the CEO should view us as resources. You know, you should say, you know, I'm going to go to Diane when I want to talk something about the chemical industry because she's deep in the chemical industry. I'm going to go to Jim, who used to work at Microsoft, when I'm talking about, you know, cybersecurity. There's no point in going to Diane to talk about cybersecurity. I'm not going to be that helpful, but the CEO ought to think of us as resources, not bosses, because at the end of the day, we are all here to help him or her be more successful. You know, we should feel passionate about the success of the company, and we want the CEO to be wildly successful. And if you don't, you shouldn't be on the board, right? Because now, unfortunately, I have been on boards that have fired CEOs, and that's not a fun experience. I mean, you know, but 90% of the time, it is really about helping him or her make the very best possible decisions and have the best possible perspectives. And so I think that the CEO can get the best out of each board member, but they need to actively do it. I would say don't wait for the board members. To the extent that the CEO whenever I get a call from the CEO saying, Diane, I really want to talk this through from you, I feel gratified. I feel honored that he, you know, values my opinion and he's seeking it out. And so I would advise CEOs, make those personal calls. You know, pick up the phone, you know, every once in a while and engage a board member. They'll feel awesome about being on your side and being your helper.
That's why they joined. It's because of all the reasons you just stated, that they believe in that executive, they believe in the team, and they believe in the company. And it's in your enlightened self-interest to help each other be the best you could possibly be. Sure.